Hey, Tim Sykes here, and I want to do a little bit of a different video today. I just finished watching Jack Kellogg's hour and a half webinar from the other day for challenge students. In case you don't know, Jack Kellogg, over $12 million, my latest eight-figure student, valet, turned, just master trader, and now he's paying it forward and giving weekly webinars to challenge students. If you are in the challenge, please tune in. Whether you tune in live or watch it later, he's giving his next webinar. I guess I'm filming this on Sunday. No, I'm filming this on Saturday. I'm posting this on Sunday. I'm all over the place. But Jack is giving his next webinar Monday, 2:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern. So challenge students, try to tune in live. You can ask some questions. You can see him trading live. It's kind of cool. If you're not in the challenge, I'll post a link below. You should. I want more millionaire students, challenge students. This is where all my millionaires are created. You choose your dedication level. I can't force anybody to be dedicated, but if you truly want it, the challenge is the place to be. And I'm so grateful to, everyone in the community for really helping each other. And Jack is just the latest millionaire student to give weekly webinars. Tim Lento, Mark Crook. Got to give shout outs to them, week in, week out. Before it was Tim Grattani and Michael Good. It's really amazing to see these webinars live and then also to watch them archived. And I really can't encourage you enough. If you are in the challenge, watch this webinar from Jack Kellogg, July 31st, 2023. It is an instant classic. If you're confused at all, I did a video. I guess I'll link to this video just explaining more about Jack's new watch list and webinars, because he's not just giving weekly webinars, he's also giving weekly watch lists. And I think it's really useful to learn from somebody who has come from really nothing, like he used to sell pillows. He was a valet. I mean, we've really dug into his past and shown his whole growth, and it was a struggle. It didn't happen overnight, but he really exemplifies what's possible with trading. He'll give another watch list soon. We'll post that. This was his last week's watch list and it was really dead on. But with this video, I want to go over lessons that I learned from watching his first weekly challenge webinar. He's given webinars in the past and I try to watch a lot of them, but I really think that he has more perspective now because, not just the 12 million that he's made, but he's also gone through times where he hasn't made money. And that gives him perspective. And, he's still in his early 20s, so you got to think about where he is in life. It's actually pretty amazing what he's done. But here are just 7 lessons from his first webinar. And understand, there are 4 lessons I agree with and 3 lessons I disagree with. And I probably could do more, but I got to get going in a little bit, so I just want to keep it succinct. I won't always agree with my millionaire students, we don't all think the same. We don't all trade the same. Don't be afraid to disagree with any trader. You got to find what works for you in trading and in life. And for me too, with teaching, I disagree with a lot of short sellers these days. I know they made a lot of money. I made a lot of money short selling too, but I firmly disagree with many of them. And I do firmly believe that most short sellers these days are the new promoters. No one is spiking stocks like short sellers, and they don't want to spike stocks. They're spiking them inadvertently just because it's such a crowded strategy and there's so many great squeezes. And almost every stock I'm playing right now is a short squeeze. It's not promotions. Promotions are pretty dead, as we'll talk about later in this video. But anyways, 4 lessons I agree with. With Jack, trading is all about seasonality. Push it when the plays are best, step back when they're not. If you do take this seriously, if you do commit to being, my next millionaire trader, you do commit to your education, you can't just go 24/7 nonstop. That's a formula for burning out. That's a recipe for disaster in the long run. There's ebbs and flows in the market, and you also have to consider your life, right? I want you to be dedicated. I think obsession with studying is good, especially in the beginning. But, take some time off for your health, take some time off with friends and family, work out, travel, focus on your job, focus on school. Like you can't just be 24/7 trading. It's really unhealthy, and burning out is a real possibility if you don't think about the other things. I'm not saying you need a perfectly, balanced diet or perfectly balanced life. I wouldn't know about either of them. But you do have to consider that. And, there's a reason why most of the best traders take July and August off. There's less volume. This year there's a lot of volatility. Usually there's less volatility. And the best traders are just trading all the time. So you got to choose. And the weather's nicer too in the summer. And, I'm very fortunate to be able to travel again. I go to Positano, Italy every summer. I love that town. I travel all over the world, but almost every single year for the past decade or so, I go to Positano. It's my favorite town in the world. And I'm still trading nonstop. I'm still teaching, but I also pull back a little bit. I trade with smaller size. Sometimes I make less video lessons. I'm not just going to make a video just to, entertain myself. I want there to be a purpose. And I really think that's good. Jack is giving these webinars now, not a coincidence during the summer when he's trying to trade less. He enjoys, helping other people. The challenge is really just this great community. Also, secondly, OTCs are easier than NASDAQ plays. We miss them. Jack misses them. I miss them. Anybody who has made millions with OTCs misses them. NASDAQs, short squeezes, these are the plays right now. They're just very choppy and very stressful. And, you can even look at Jack's profit chart. It's uptrending nicely, but you can see here he has like big moves up, then he goes sideways, big move up, sideways, big move up, sideways, big move up, sideways, down a little, up, and now he's been sideways for like a few months. And it's just whenever there's really good plays. When OTCs are in play, that's when you can really make some upward moves, and it just feels like child's play. I miss it. Everyone misses it that I know. Anybody who trades OTCs, with a lot of experience remembers how clean those charts are, those panic dip buys, those first green days. What can you do? And I'll talk more about OTCs in another lesson down below, and I'll explain why I think they've changed. Number 3, focus on plays that fit the framework. Avoid choppy, scary plays. I'll link my 7-step framework. A lot of people are surprised because people are like, oh, Jack has made more than you. He trades more NASDAQs than you. Yes, he does. Yes to both. I have a lot of students who are making more than me in trading higher price stocks. But the cool thing is the framework really applies. And almost every successful trader I know uses 1 or 2 or 3 of the 7-step framework in their daily trading, even whether it's intraday, whether it's daily, whether it's weekly. I came up with it just to try to give like a guide, like, a framework for lack of a better word. But just a high level way to think about the different steps of how stocks move. And it's pretty crazy how well it fits. You're looking to buy into the biggest panics. You're looking to short into the biggest spikes. And there are some steps where like it's just too choppy and you don't really want to take any trade. So Jack, even though he's made nearly double what I've made in half the time, he still follows the framework, and I'm very proud of him. I'm not angry when students make more than me. I'm encouraged. That's why I teach. This is every trader's dream, or every teacher's dream, not every trader's dream. Most traders are competitive. They get angry when someone else makes more than me, or makes more than them. I enjoy it. I get much more satisfaction when someone makes their first, $1,000 or first $10,000, and they have that light bulb moment. And it's really tough to ever go back to, being blind to the possibilities again. I've had a lot of $1,000 and $10,000 gains. I'm spoiled. Most traders don't study, plan enough, so they don't have better odds of success. And this is Jack's, secret weapon. People say, like, how did he and Tim Grittani make 8 figures when, I have thousands of students. Thousands of students are not making 8 figures, or most aren't even making 7 figures or 6 figures. It comes down to dedication. Everyone in the challenge specifically has all access to all the same content, all the same webinars, all the same video lessons, all the same watch lists. There's a separate chat room for the challenge. They get the most access. And I have a bunch of different newsletters, wherever you're watching this, like it's We have it all over the place. Content. But you choose your dedication level. I can't force you to study. And most traders simply don't study enough. They don't plan well enough. They think trading is going to be easy. I have never, ever said that trading is easy. In 2020 and 2021, like there was a mania, it's easier, but it's still confusing if you don't have the framework, if you don't know the rules, if you don't have experience, if you don't have the right broker, you don't know position sizing, you don't know risk management. Like, this isn't rocket science, but you do need to have the basics down to have better odds of success. You will not be my next 6, 7, 8-figure student if you do not plan ahead of time before you risk your hard-earned money. And you start planning and optimizing your strategy over and over and over again so that every single play you have better odds of success because you are a better planner. That's what it comes down to. You know, it's not that you're going to be right 100% of the time. You can't control the market. You can't control when the next mania is going to be. All you can do is control your preparation. And Jack really did a good job in this webinar, and he always talks about this. But like, you know, he's been obsessed with his education and his data and his tracking and optimizing different patterns and different strategies. That's how he's able to bet bigger, because he has the confidence thanks to his preparation, thanks to his data, and, you know, just spending a lot of time. You know, when he was trading through mono and strep, which is crazy. I don't recommend that. Go see a doctor. But he traded through having strep and mono. And he wasn't just trading, he was tracking. And he was doing all the research needed to make those big trades. You can't make big trades without data, without tracking, without analysis, without planning. You can, you know, but you'll probably just lose. So I 100% agree with Jack on that. But here are 3 lessons I disagree with. And I wanted to make this video just to help you understand that, you know, we're all different people. We're not always going to agree on the same things. Like some people are like, Sykes, your students don't even trade the same stocks as you. Correct. Because I'm giving a guidelines. I'm giving a framework. We're all, you know, different people with different strengths and weaknesses in different time zones. We're not like the typical chat rooms. There's a lot of chat rooms out there where it's like follow the leader. And it's one guy buying low float stocks and everyone tries to buy after him. And guess what? The guy makes money and then pretty much everyone else loses. Or worse, not even just loses, but like they don't learn anything because they're just following somebody else. I give alerts, but I say never follow alerts from me or anybody because I want you to understand my process, my mindset. And I specifically type out 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 sentences with my alert. And that takes 30 seconds or a minute. Some people are just like, just give me the ticker and the price. No, because that will get people to want to follow and you think that that's trading. It's not. You have to learn mindset. You have to learn a process. I know it's not what you want to hear. I know everyone just wants hot picks and it's easier just to follow. But that is not how you get self-sufficient. All my 30 plus millionaire students are self-sufficient. How did they get that way? Not by following alerts, but by learning what works for them, what doesn't work for them, learning from, you know, buying first green days, shorting first red days, dip buying morning panics. I mean, there's only a few key patterns that I go over. I know in the beginning it's overwhelming and everything seems confusing, but give it time. Never forget, Jack Kellogg lost $2,600 his first year after joining the challenge, and he paid several thousand for the challenge. Tim Sykes made nothing his first year, and he paid several thousand for the challenge. So imagine my 2 top students, they're making nothing year 1, but year 2, year 3, year 4, they're making millions. You gotta focus on the process, and it's okay to disagree. I can be wrong, Jack can be wrong, Tim Sykes can be wrong. Any of us can be wrong at any time. So here are 3 lessons that I disagree with. And I have to, you know, give that whole disclaimer because I know some people are going to be like, what? You're disagreeing? That's crazy. You know, Jack says you have to go all in mentally in order to become a successful trader, eat, breathe, sleep trading. And I get that. You know, I always say study hard. I always say, you know, how dedicated are you? But that is not the only way. And being successful at trading, again, this is Jack's personal experience. This is how he's made millions, and he's just talking from experience. My experience is different because I've been doing this longer, and I have a lot of students who are, quote, successful traders, but they haven't made 7 or 8 figures, but they've made an extra 5 or 6 figures, and they're doing it part-time, either with a family or with a job or at university, and they're studying when they can. Don't be afraid to not be completely obsessed and have trading take over your entire life. All my millionaire students, especially my new millionaire students, they're obsessed. And they were like doing like this crash course to learn everything. And I'm glad they did it. It worked for them. And, if you can be obsessed, if you can eat, breathe, and sleep trading, by all means do it. But it's just not the only way. And I disagree with Jack on that. But I understand from his perspective why he thinks that. All of his friends think that. There's this whole trader mentality, and especially in a lot of these chat rooms where it's like, go to bed at 9 p.m., wake up at 4 a.m., like don't drink alcohol, healthy mind, healthy body, discipline, 75 hard. And I'm just like, I'm sorry to laugh. It's not funny. Be disciplined, go to bed early, think of yourself as an Olympic athlete, whatever, if you want. But I also know a lot of the best traders, like they're just rich and they have a lot of fun and they don't go to bed at 9 p.m. Like some of them go to bed at 9 a.m. I'm not saying it's healthy. But when you're a rich trader, like you can have a lot of fun in life. And I will say, and I'm speaking from, personal experience, I can't stay up that late anymore, but I've had my good times in the past before. But I will say also, sometimes being undisciplined in life, like where you have a few too many drinks, you eat a little too much, maybe you don't work out, maybe you don't make your bed in the morning, oh, God forbid. Having that lack of discipline in life actually helps balance the ridiculous discipline that you need in the markets. If you're disciplined all the time in life and in trading and you have no fun whatsoever, like you're probably going to crack one of these days, whether, you're going to go on some crazy like bender in Vegas or Dubai or Macau or, some crazy place where it's really dangerous to go on a bender, whether it's gambling, whether it's going out, like there's a lot of excesses. Or you're going to be so disciplined all the time, and you're going to like be mentally burned out and you're just going to like freak out, or you'll become like a serial killer. Or maybe some of these people who are so disciplined online and they pretend to be somebody on social media, and like all these Twitter traders who never lose online or in chat rooms. And then, they're short selling all the time. And then there's one giant short squeeze and somehow they're mysteriously on vacation. But anyways, sorry, I get away from the point. I worry about those people who pretend to be perfect online because nobody is perfect. And I really think some of these people are like serial killers and they have some serious issues that they are just so overcompensating for, and it's scary. So don't think there's any one specific way to do this. I think that you should try to be healthy. But just know that a lot of the best traders and the richest traders who aren't on Twitter and aren't like virtue signaling on social media and in chat rooms, they're just doing whatever the hell they want. And that's part of the beauty of trading. Like, you can make this FU money. You don't really have to just be fake like a lot of people are in this industry. Number 2, expecting profits during specific time periods like November to February. Again, this is Jack's experience. Like I agree with him that there's seasonality, and I appreciate him taking more time off. Like we've already gone to Greece together. We were just in England together. Where else? Oh, we were in Dubai together. Like he's traveling more. I love that. And it's good for him. It's good for him to see the world. His family was like worried about him in Dubai. And I was like, trust me, Dubai is fine. And sure enough, like, some of the places we're in Dubai are like nicer than any place in America. I know Americans want to think it's only America first all the time, but the world is actually much more fascinating than a lot of narrow-minded people think. You don't just have to focus on specific time periods. I like to be ready at all times. Obviously, I'm still traveling, I'm still trading, I'm still teaching. I do try to pull back sometimes, but at the same time, like you might get the best play ever in July or August. And if let's say you're like, I'm not going to open my laptop or I won't open my trading software, you're going to miss the best play. And it's just due to like this kind of thinking like I have to focus on November to February. Also, what if the market sucks November to February? What if there's a giant crash? And then you're like, oh man, this is my time to shine and there's no big plays and I'm falling behind. You're falling behind your own misguided expectations. Like even at one point, like Jack said, like, yeah, I'll probably make like, $500,000 over these few months. And guess what? He's probably right, given his experience in his preparation and just what he knows about himself. But I don't like thinking about, making any specific dollar amounts in any time period. And again, Jack is an amazing guy and he's teaching from his heart and he's just, telling you what he thinks. But I've seen this go bad with a lot of newbies. And I've warned about this, like, millionaire traders think differently and they trade differently than newbie traders. And you don't want to be a newbie trader taking like a millionaire trader strategy, because I've seen a lot of people even, not just try to follow, Jack Kellogg's kinds of trades, but like Tim Grittani type trading where he's much more patient and they get absolutely wrecked. I think even Jack tried to trade some of like Tim Grittani's type setups with a huge patience and he got wrecked. So learn from these millionaire traders, get inspired by them, but don't think that everything that they think and everything they do applies to you. It can be a little different. November to February, I mean, my own personal experience over 20 plus years, I do better then too. But I'm still ready during other periods of time, and I'm fine with not making any money during like a supposedly busy time. I'm very flexible. I take it one trade at a time, and I'm just ready. And seasonality, I mean, I'm aware of it, but I'm not like beholden to it. Jack is also just trying to like plan his life. Remember, he's like a new millionaire. I have a lot of new millionaires and they're not used to having so much money and so many options. And they're like, oh, should I go here? Should I buy this? Should I do this? I've been a millionaire for a very long time. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful. But the excitement and the adrenaline rush kind of wears off towards the end. I mean, this is probably why I'm so focused on giving back. I get much more satisfaction giving to others these days, which is weird, I know. But you got to do what makes you happy. So by all means, be aware of seasonality. I just would not have any profit expectations, especially if you haven't had big profits in the past. Jack has a lot more money and a lot more experience and a lot more data that he's basing his, lessons off of. Most people don't have that. So understand the difference. And the third thing I disagree with him about is that he says that like OTCs died due to the new filing rules. And it kind of like, gets rid of a lot of scams, and a lot of scams are not spiking that much. Obviously new filing rules, I mean, it's good for the market, like less scams. Fantastic, I guess, for investors, even though I don't think anybody should invest in OTCs. I think you should just use them to trade their volatility. But the volatility is definitely taking a hit. I think partially because of the filing rule, but I think a bigger play, a bigger reason is Atlas Trading. And Atlas Trading was taken down and they're still in the headlines and they're doing so much dumb stuff. I called them out early on, like, the character on Twitter, Zach Morris, even made a video like saying Tim Sykes is fully crap. Well, he's been arrested and he's got multiple mugshots and so many charges against him. And he's like, now there's, supposedly like tampering with witnesses. Like, he's just a bad dude, just a bad law breaking guy. And the reason why, the press is going after him and the SEC and, the authorities are going after them, because they're just bad people. Like they mean bad, they do bad, they are bad. Okay, whether they're guilty or not, I'm not a lawyer, but they're just bad people and they're bad role models. And sadly, a lot of people got sucked into their scams, or alleged scams. They got sucked into their schemes. How about that? And now they're being like really made an example of. And a lot of the promoters who didn't necessarily get arrested, they did the same kind of stuff that Atlas Trading did, like they're all in like different, maybe not different chat rooms, but they have different newsletters and they're like working in conjunction with each other and they're trying to like pump up these pieces of craps. Like, this is why I am such a big proponent of trading on your own. This still happens. And, again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what these websites and these chat rooms all do together. Like even short sellers issue these short reports within 30 minutes of each other, and you got to believe that they're talking to each other, and they're like, okay, you release your short report here at 9:45 a.m. I'll release my short report here at 10:15 a.m. And they're trying to basically drop stocks. You can call it a bear raid. There actually is an investigation with short sellers right now, in a lot of promoters and a lot of these chat rooms, no different than, what was that, FaZe Clan. And they would all mention like the ticker FaZe, FAZE, like in their little Twitch rooms. And one would announce the ticker at like 10 a.m. and then another would come out at 10 a.m. and they would pump up the stock. And, they probably should be in jail too. I don't know. Again, I'm not a lawyer. Whether they're in jail or fined, whatever. It's wrong. It's bad. It's not lasting. And so Atlas Trading, whether they're found guilty or not, and for how many years they go to prison or what fines they pay, but like they're under the microscope. And I think a lot of promoters are watching that case and they're like, whoa, like now like the feds are on to their tactics. And so they're just not doing that anymore. We really haven't seen that many good promos lately. And I don't think it's just due to the filings. I think it's due to the lack of promotional pumping and manipulative tactics that the promoters use. And the funny thing, and it's not funny, but like the reality of the situation is that I think that a lot of the best spikes these days, like I said, I've been trading a lot of spikers, but I mean, they're almost all short squeezes. Short sellers are the new promoters. Not only do they, issue their little reports within 30 minutes or an hour of each other, trying to like depress the stock. So it's just like, they're professional demoters instead of promoters. They're trying to push the stock down instead of up. But when they get squeezed, that creates a giant spike. And the spikes that the short sellers create are bigger than the promoters. But the thing with the short sellers is that it's not OTCs. And these short squeezes are mainly like NASDAQ. But, if you look at this is the NASDAQ right now. We're overextended, but we've had a huge run up. And the one thing that's been missing this entire run up with the NASDAQ and the S&P and the Dow is like no OTCs. Really, like HCNWF was like the best promo. And that was right here. I mean, that was a fantastic promo and it went from 50 cents to $4, but this was months ago. The cool thing is that, is not the end of the world. I'm still up and I have a lot of students who are still up. And even if you're not up, you're still learning from example after example, because you might not have, promos that go from like 30 cents up to $4. So this is like 12 times, but the volume only got up to like 5 or 10 million. Like promos, it's tough to really get a lot of people interested in it. So you're just not going to get that much volume. But compare that to the short squeezes like Tupperware. Same exact kind of run up, and look at the volume here, 50 to 100 million a day. So you have the same kinds of run ups, the same kinds of supernovas, but you have much more volume because it's based on short squeezes. So the game has changed a little bit. TUP is one of them. YELL is up, from 60 cents to the 4s also, and these will come crashing down. But look at the volume. 50 to 100, sometimes even 200 million in a day. So you could argue that while OTCs, are dead due to the new filing rules or due to lack of promotion, we have better plays. And like I said, I prefer OTCs. I prefer clean framework plays, but I'm still trading these, supernovas. And I just had, a $5,000 week, nothing huge, but I'm still trading small. And I'm really getting in tune with these NASDAQ plays. And again, this isn't my main, seasonality, but I think you can still learn a lot by trading small and just trying to get in tune with these runners, whether it's YELL or, MF. I saw went supernova on Friday. I mean, this is a crazy run from 80 cents up to $2.50. And what was the volume? 123 million. So fear not, guys. I know, OTCs are easier. I prefer OTCs too. But in the lack of OTC promotion, maybe the Atlas case will be closed or whatever. They'll plead guilty or get sentenced hopefully soon. Whatever, we want promoters to come back. But in the meantime, we got short squeezes. So enjoy. So anyways, these were 7 lessons. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with these 4 lessons? Do you disagree with these 3 lessons? I'm curious to see what you think. Please do me a favor, leave a comment below and thank Jack for his weekly webinars. Remember, challenge students, he's got another one coming 2:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern on Monday. Tune in live, ask questions. I think that's always useful, or watch it later. That's still useful too. And he's got his weekly watch list coming on Sunday too. So we'll post that. But thank you, Jack. Thank you, everyone in the challenge community for really making this community the best. And there's a reason why, all my millionaires come out of this community. I get it. Some people don't want to commit that much time or money to their education, and that's up to you. But I have part-time students, I have full-time students, I have obsessed students, I have short-selling students, I have long students, whatever it is that works for you. Don't feel like it's one size fits all. I really think that's the most important lesson. Try to make the market work for you. Try to make this improve your education. Like, I can't turn you into a millionaire overnight. It's about how can these lessons, how can my thoughts, patterns, rules, everything that we're sharing here, how can it help speed up your own learning curve, and how can it speed up your own wealth creation curve? So glad to help. I'll see you guys in chat. Jack Kellogg, amazing webinar, amazing watch list. Thank you again. I got to make another long video too, congratulating. There were like 100 or 150 challenge students who had record weeks. I'll do another video when I catch my breath. It's an amazing time to be a trader. Even if you miss out on any trade, if you lose, if you sell too soon, don't worry. It's a process and you're learning, and you got to start your education as soon as possible. I'll post a link to the challenge below. If you're not in my challenge, join it. It's the best decision you'll ever make.